Car shopping's confusing. Dealer price, list price, invoice, all those terms. TrueCar shows you what people pay for the car you want. Save $3,000 off MSRP, new or used. Sean Merriman's going to be interesting. We have him as a guest today. He was 8 NFL seasons, Defensive Player of the Year about 10 years ago, a little over that. He has a similar situation. Richard Sherman to the Niners has the Achilles surgery. He went through that, so he'll be a very interesting guest. In the OBJ situation, it doesn't freak me out because this is what I thought his off seasons looked like. I mean, it's almost like with my kids. You know, I parent. I try to be a good parent. I try to offer wisdom, but they're kids. And once they get to be 16, 17, and they have a car, I have less control. I cross my fingers and pray, but they're not perfect, and they make mistakes. And if my kids had $100 million and we're in Europe and we're global stars, and I saw a picture of them in a hotel room, doing stuff like this, it wouldn't make my day. I'd be embarrassed for them. But young people with lots of money who are stars hanging out in Europe, this doesn't – is it going to hurt him with money? I don't know. But if he was a quarterback, it'd bother me. He's not. And I kind of thought this is who Odell Beckham Jr. was. This is what he'd be doing in the offseason. Dollar Shave Club's going to blow your mind, delivering everything you need to look, smell, feel your best. Shampoo, body wash. Give it a try. DollarShaveClub.com/Colin. By the way, Christine reportedly has some unbelievable video.
No, not video, pictures.
Pictures?
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. I'm very, very excited.
What accent is that?
I don't know. I'm very excited.
You sound like Seinfeld.
Okay, go. Somebody told me you had great pictures. I don't even care about the world. I want to see the pictures. Go ahead, Christine, with the news.
No. Heard on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Can you talk in that accent the entire time?
I don't even know what it is.
I don't either.
Very excited.
It sounds like you can't pronounce R's. Yes, so these pictures that are just coming out, we've seen some of the pictures of Tom Brady's hands, but not these ones. And I just want to warn you, if you're like me and you don't like gory, bloody things, turn away. Keep listening, though, but turn away from the TV because this is gory. This is Tom Brady's hand. Ew. Yeah, and so we were talking about this during the break, actually. I think Goulet made a really good point that when they taped his hands, they did it on the back side of his hand, too, to make it seem like it wasn't so bad.
Damn.
But if it was right there, that affects your throwing.
How many stitches is that, John? 20?
1, 2, 3. I mean,
wow, that is a rip.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
that one.
wow.
That's the one we were warning about. Oh, didn't need to see that.
That is like, honestly, getting like a hook on a boat. Oh, wow.
Interesting choice of explanation. Has that happened to you?
Oh, I used to be a deckhand.
Oh, so that's why.
Yeah, I've ripped my hand before.
So you know how that feels.
And I was able to play in the AFC Championship 48 hours later.
Well, doesn't that make you feel like we should give more credit to Tom Brady?
No question.
Right. Good job, Tom Brady. You are tough.
Let's hear it for Tom Brady's physicality and manhood. Let's hear it.
Tough guy.
He is the GOAT. I don't even think GOAT could play with a hand like that.
He is better than the GOAT.
Yeah.
Good job.
500 yards in the Super Bowl, literally his thumbs hanging from his hand.
Right. We didn't know, but I think that's interesting that they made it seem like it was the backhand and not the speedy part.
Really gruesome.
Very gruesome. Steph Curry has been out for the Warriors for 2 games, and they lost both of those games. And Kevin Durant says it is weird to play without him.
It's weird not having, Steph out there, and Draymond and Andre and D. West and Jordan, and, you know what I'm saying? So we're missing a lot, and we just kind of playing on the fly each possession. It's something we got to deal with, something that we just got to figure out and work through, and it's actually been pretty fun trying to figure things out throughout the game. And everybody's just, coming together even better. Like I said before, our offense is predicated on Steph and Clay kind of, running around the three-point line, knocking down three-point shots and spreading out. And, without Steph there, Quinn is asked to do a lot. So, it's definitely a different dynamic.
I'm all for players taking some time right now, making sure that they're healthy. It's at the beginning of the season, the first half, when I don't like them resting that early.
Oh, I get guys now.
But at this point, if you have an injury,
And it's
if you
nagging.
have one
it's
and
nagging.
it's nagging,
Take
then I'm
off.
okay with it. Don't just take days off to take days off.
By the way, Jaylen Brown of your Celtics
My Celtics.
had a nasty fall. Did you see that?
I did not.
Oh, God, it is.
Is he okay?
Well, it looked like a concussion. He sat out.
Oh, no, he's fine. Yeah, I did hear about that. He just said that he had a headache.
Okay, wow. So that
really
was not
bad.
a concussion?
No,
oh,
and
my
I remember
God.
it's not that big of a deal. It looked like it was really, really bad.
Oh, it looked awful.
But it's not.
All right.
So that's good for him. And finally, LeBron James, we know, was in LA over the weekend to play the Clippers and the Lakers. And remember, DeAndre Jordan was part of some trade rumors, maybe going to Cleveland, and it didn't work out.
Right.
So LeBron was asked about that, and he said, I don't play fantasy basketball. I knew the conversations were going on from the outside. I seen it. If it would have happened, it would have gave us a boost, but it didn't happen, so you move on. Yes, I would think that he does pay attention to fantasy basketball because he has been all about his stats lately.
Yeah, I always think he's...
So that's not true.
Yeah, I tend to believe that when you're like that great, like the Warriors would call Steph and say, Steph, what do you think of this? I mean, I think in the NBA, it's a players' league. If you don't tell your stars kind of what you're thinking, you don't want your...
Oh, you're talking about whether or not he knew about DeAndre Jordan coming? Of course he did. He probably brought it up to them.
Yeah, they keep in the NBA. You keep your stars. Like in the NFL, I do believe Belichick's made moves and not told Tom Brady. But it's not a players' league. But in the NBA, but in the NBA, you tell your star.
Could you imagine if a player just shows up for Cleveland and LeBron had no idea? Yeah. That's not going to go over well.
Yeah, exactly. Christine, the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Let's bring in Sean Merriman, a former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 8 years, 6 Chargers, 2 Bills. You're a very interesting guest today because Richard Sherman, who at one point 3 years ago was the most discussed non-quarterback in this league, he was the shutdown corner, the Stanford kid, the Legion of Boom, and man, in this league, if you get hurt, you lose your leverage fast. Yeah. So now he signs a very team-friendly deal with the Niners. You can relate to this because I think the question, Sean, is what does he have left? He just had an Achilles surgery. You had one of those, right?
Yeah. You know, I tore my Achilles in 2009. I was partially torn, but then I ended up rupturing the whole thing. You know, the problem is that when you tear your Achilles, you're never going to be the same player again.
You won't.
You won't. I mean,
why? What does that mean?
Well, the Achilles, if you play an explosive position,
you're a pass rusher.
Pass rusher being one, a running back, and in his position, when he has to stop, plant, turn the corner, and drive on a wide receiver, you lose that. And even if he was to get it back over time, which it takes a full year, not just physically, but mentally, to push back and put all your pressure back on that thing again. So mentally, when he comes back, it's going to play a part of it.
Sean, I'll tell you a story. This doesn't really, it's not totally analogous. I was a kid. I used to ride these motorbikes. And one time it crashed, the handlebars, and I still have a scar. It ripped up. It wasn't that didn't heal within a week. I couldn't get it out of my head. The rest of that summer, you couldn't get me on that bike. And players have told this to me. Like, once you injure a part of your body that if you injure it one more time, you're done. For you, did it get into your head?
I was terrified. When I came back, I was terrified to stand on one line. So I tore my right Achilles. So anytime I had to put my right foot back and plant on it and push off the line of scrimmage, I was thinking it was going to pop every single time.
Wow.
And for him, the thing is, if this happens and he's 23, 24, he can come back from it. When you're pressing 30 or 31, when he comes back and he's healthy, it's just hard for you to be the same player that you were. And I don't see that happening.
The Seahawks, listen, the defense was built first. Okay, so for the first 2 years Pete was in Seattle, they were drafting these young players. Then Russell Wilson came in, and it took him a couple years to get up to the speed. I mean, he was good, but he wasn't dynamic. I mean, he wasn't what he was 2 years later. I have always argued there's almost been a little bit of a disrespect. I mean, they traded away his center, Max Unger, and gave him a non-blocking tight end. He's been running for his life, Sean, since. I think it's time to move and make this Russell Wilson's team. Do you think they waited too long to do that?
No, not really, because if you look at just the outside of this team, when you think about the Seattle Seahawks, who do you think about? You think about the Legion of Boom. I don't think about Russell Wilson as a team. I think about the team's identity and what made them feared, and it was Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, and Richard Sherman. that was a team identity. Everything that they did was structured around the character of them back in the secondary. It made their defense better. When Marshawn Lynch was there, them running the ball, that attitude they brought to the team. It's not too late to build the team now around Russell Wilson. I think they've always should have put people in front of him to block. I mean, he's running for their life. Had
Last 2 years have been
the
brutal.
last 2 years. He's taken a lot of unnecessary hits that he shouldn't have had to take. It's not too late to start protecting him now, but to say that we're going to build the team around Russell Wilson when you have these DBs back there, that defense, this core part of who this organization is now.
So you think at the time they were right?
Oh, yeah, they were right.
But now it's Russell's team.
Yeah, and they're right to move on. Because, when you have a team like that, you only have a short period of time. You have about a 3 or 4 year span to keep these guys together, whether it's health, contracts,
that's right,
or whatever it may be. After that time, you start to have to move on and start putting other pieces of the puzzle, and they're finally doing that now.
Sean Merriman joining us, 8 NFL seasons, former Defensive Player of the Year. Okay. A lot of times when I see athletes do, what you would call dumb stuff, I always try to take a deep breath, Sean, and go, okay, I'm 50. I don't want to be old cranky guy, right? I want to relate to young people. So I see the OBJ video, French model, pizza, blunt, and credit card and white lines. My takeaway is, okay, don't be crusty old guy, that he's not a quarterback. And secondly, if you'd have told me, what does he do in the offseason, I'd say, roll a fatty and hang out with models and, do his thing. Like, I saw the video and I was like, well, that's kind of what I think his offseason's like. It didn't freak me out. Now, you're looking at me like, Cowherd, are you an idiot? Am I crazy?
No, you're rationalizing the situation. I believe that.
I'm rationalizing.
You're rationalizing the situation. Look, a lot of stuff goes on, but the problem is when it's put out there in that kind of way, it's hard to step back from. So when you have an organization already that know how big Odell Beckham is just in life, across different sports, the culture that he's building, the cultures he's connected, and now you put it out there, you start to get afraid of making this guy a long-term, part of your situation.
He's been a little temperamental.
Right.
He's been a little fragile, and he's in a room with cocaine.
Right.
Do you think the Giants this morning, Sean, are saying, we're not going there?
No.
You think they're signing him?
No, I think they're signing him.
So do I.
But it's going to be hard for him to ask for the quarterback money he's looking for because this is what when you do this, you put yourself in a bad situation. You start to lose your leverage that you have with the team. And when this stuff comes out and it hits, he's losing this leverage. So that quarterback money that he's asking for, he may not get it now.
No, they'll say, listen, man, quarterbacks don't end up on videos doing this, dude. You want quarterback money,
you got to act like a quarterback.
There you go.
You have to act like a quarterback, but that's what happens, and you can only really blame yourself for that. But also, he wants to be there long term. That'll happen, but instead of him getting top quarterback money now, he'll get top wide receiver. Which either one ain't bad.
I was just rationalizing. That's well put. All right, Cleveland's making a bunch of moves.
Yeah.
Peter Schrager was on earlier. He says, man, they're just trying to show everybody in the league, we're going for it. I don't think Tyrod Taylor changes much. He's better than Kaiser, but, Buffalo, 2 coaching staffs have not put their arms around Tyrod Taylor.
Right.
Jarvis Landry's a good player. What do you make of this flurry of activity by an 0-16 Browns team?
Well, what they're saying is we need to win now. You go and draft a quarterback and you wait to him to develop, and it takes 2 or 3 years. What are you saying? We're gonna suck for 2 or 3 more years.
Right.
What they're basically trying to send a message is, no, we have something better than what we had. I've always said this for the last couple of years. As bad as they are, they're still not as far off. It's almost like when I went to Buffalo in 2010 or 2011, how they were 0-7. I walked in the locker room and I said, man, these guys, they got players everywhere.
Oh, God, yeah.
Why are they 0-7? And you don't understand.
They didn't have the right quarterback.
They didn't have the right quarterback.
That Buffalo team you went to, Buffalo's had talent for years.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not Jacksonville talent, but they have had talent for years. Yeah, I think I think if they get the quarterback right, I think almost, Sean, if you get the quarterback right, period.
Right.
If you drive to work knowing we can win Sunday. When you played with Phillip Rivers, there was never a game you drove to that thought we don't have a chance to win.
Right.
You thought you could win
never.
Every single Sunday.
No doubt about it, but that's what you have in Tyrod Taylor. You have a chance to win.
So you think
what they had in the past, you're going to the game where we probably don't lose today, right? You have that feeling. And Tyrod Taylor is an instant
Energy boost.
Energy boost. He's electric. He's going to create some stuff with his legs. He's going to do some exciting things. They just need a spark. They don't need a top-tier quarterback to come in there. They need somebody better than they've had in the previous years because they're not far off anyway.
Good seeing you, Sean.
Good seeing you, too.
Coming up next, it was perhaps the biggest PR blunder in the history of the world, and I'll talk about that next. Guys, the madness is about to begin in college hoops. Spring training's here, opening day, NBA and NHL playoffs. It is a great time of the year for the herd. It also means warmer weather, and all that heavy clothing, you're going to start shedding it, and don't you want to be in a little better shape? Up your game. Work out, eat right, and take M-Drive every day. It's nutrition science. It increases your vitality, stamina, strength, and endurance. The entire M-Drive line is built on science, clinically tested, safe, and effective ingredients to boost your natural testosterone levels, which you have in your body. They've got M-Drive Boost and Burn, that's a fat burner. M-Drive Prime for people just starting, getting off the couch, and getting rolling. You can either go online, buymdrive.com, code HERD, or it's prominently displayed at Duane Reade out east, Walgreens, Vitamin Shoppe, Sprouts, or GNC. Refine your prime with M-Drive.